Hey everyone, welcome back. We all get caught up in the daily grind, and it feels like there's just not enough time for anything extra.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
But you know what? Today we're diving into something fun. We're talking hobbies,
Yeah.
not just any hobbies.
Right, right.
Stuff you can do without even leaving your house.
Ah, perfect for those busy days, huh?
Exactly. Whether you're on a tight budget or just fancy a little something new, there's a world of at-home activities waiting to be discovered.
I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. Looking at all these options, we've got creative stuff, physical stuff, stuff for the foodies, even some brain-boosting activities.
It's really impressive, the variety.
So as you were looking this over, anything jump out at you?
I mean, there's so much. I'm really drawn to the art and creativity stuff, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
I think everyone's heard about painting and drawing being therapeutic.
Oh, for sure.
But honestly, have you ever actually sat down and tried it?
I haven't in a while.
There are tons of free resources online,
Mm.
for beginners. And if you have a tablet, digital drawing's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's true.
I've dabbled with that a little. Now, calligraphy. There's something about it that seems so meditative.
It really is. People get intimidated thinking it's all about perfect lettering, like Instagram worthy.
Oh, yeah, I can see
But
that.
it's the process, the flow of the ink. It's almost calming.
So it's not about becoming a master calligrapher overnight?
Not at all.
Okay, I like that. What about making homemade cards? Good place to start.
Perfect. They're so personal, a real standout in this digital world. And it's a great way to practice those calligraphy skills without the pressure.
That's a great point. It's like you're not trying to create a masterpiece every time.
Right.
It's funny, thinking about cards, it's all part of crafting, right? And crafting seems to be making a comeback.
It is. It's not just for grandparents anymore.
Definitely not. I see so many younger folks into knitting, crocheting, DIY decor.
There are whole online communities dedicated to it now.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. But gotta be honest, crafting can be a bit frustrating at times, especially when you're starting out.
Tell me about it. Those drop stitches, tangled yarn.
Yeah. So for someone who's brand new, feeling a bit intimidated, what advice would you give them?
Start simple. Don't try to knit a whole sweater right away.
I think I tried that once.
A scarf, a basic crochet square, even those cute little amigurumi animals, they're all great starting points.
Okay, I like that. Manageable projects.
Exactly. And those beginner kits you mentioned earlier, those are perfect.
Yeah, they give you everything you need.
Right. Takes out some of the guesswork.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk food.
Hmm.
I'm not just thinking about the sourdough craze, although that was fun,
It was.
but just baking bread in general.
Oh, yeah.
The smell filling your kitchen, the feeling of kneading the dough.
It's a whole experience.
It is, and it's so satisfying.
It really connects you to something like a tradition that's been around forever.
And it's empowering, right, to create something delicious from scratch.
Exactly. It's not just following instructions, it's understanding the science behind it.
That's a good point. Experimenting with flavors, techniques.
You become a bit of a scientist in your own kitchen.
Okay, speaking of delicious things,
Yeah.
what about coffee? And I'm not talking about just hitting a button on a machine.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I'm thinking pour-over methods, French press.
Those are my favorite.
They allow you to control every step of the process.
It's true. Like with pour over, you're slowly pouring hot water over the grounds.
Sounds good already.
It extracts those flavors in such a nuanced way.
So it's a slower, more intentional experience.
It is almost meditative.
Like that.
And then you start to notice the differences between beans, roasts, grind sizes. It's a whole sensory experience.
I need to try that.
You should.
Okay, one last thing before we move on. Home mixology.
Fun.
It's like everyone thinks you need a full bar to make cocktails at home.
That's what I thought too.
But you can start with just a few basic spirits and experiment from there.
Right. You can get creative with fresh ingredients, herbs, spices.
Exactly. It's like being your own personal bartender, creating unique drinks.
So fun.
Okay, so we've got our creative juices flowing, we've got our kitchen smelling amazing, but we can't forget about our bodies.
Of course not. Got to balance things out.
And the good news is, you don't need a gym to get moving.
Your home can be your fitness studio.
Exactly. Yoga and Pilates are great options, good for both the body and mind.
And they're so accessible.
Totally. Just need a mat and some online guidance.
Low impact, adaptable to any fitness level.
It's about honoring your body and finding movement that feels good.
I love that.
Now, this one might surprise you. Indoor gardening.
Huh. You don't usually think of it as
I
exercise.
know, right?
Yeah.
But repotting, hauling soil, it gets you moving.
And the benefits of having greenery around, it's a mood booster.
Totally. It brings a bit of nature indoors.
Especially during the colder months when you might not be outside as much.
Exactly.
It reminds you of those natural cycles of growth, which can be grounding.
Okay, so we've been creative, we've moved our bodies, and we've even brought some nature indoors.
Mm.
Now let's talk about something that gets your heart pumping. Have you ever thought about learning to dance at home?
I love dancing.
Me too. And you can literally learn any style you want, from hip-hop to salsa to ballet, right from your living room.
There are so many online resources available.
It's amazing.
It's not just about learning the steps, though. It's about connecting with the music, feeling the rhythm, moving in a way that feels good.
It's pure joy.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered some fantastic ways to get active at home, but now I want to shift gears a bit. Let's talk about hobbies that nurture our minds, help us grow as individuals.
Ooh, I like that. Lifelong learning, right?
Exactly. And one hobby that fits that bill perfectly is language learning. Have you ever dreamed of speaking another language?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Imagine traveling to a new country and actually being able to communicate with the locals.
That would be amazing.
Right, it's like opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's true. Learning a new language challenges you to think differently, to see things from a new perspective.
And it's easier than ever to get started. So many apps, online resources. You can literally learn a language from your couch.
Amazing. But we got to be honest, it does take dedication.
It does, yeah. It's not a quick fix.
But the sense of accomplishment when you can finally hold a conversation, incredible.
Totally. Okay, so we've got our bodies moving, we're learning new languages, but sometimes we need a hobby that helps us connect with ourselves on a deeper level. Have you ever tried journaling?
Oh, I love journaling.
Me too. It's such a powerful tool for self-discovery.
It really is a safe space to explore your thoughts and feelings, to process experiences.
It's like having a conversation with yourself on paper.
Exactly.
And there are so many different approaches. You've got bullet journaling for organization, gratitude journaling for positivity, creative writing for letting your imagination run wild.
The possibilities are endless. It's
Yeah.
about finding what works for you.
And speaking of insightful activities, let's not forget about puzzles and brain games. They're like a workout for your brain.
Right. Just like our bodies need exercise, our minds need stimulation to stay sharp.
I love that analogy. Whether it's a crossword, Sudoku, a challenging board game,
They keep you engaged.
and that feeling when you finally crack that tricky puzzle.
It's so rewarding.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Creative pursuits, physical activities, brain-boosting exercises. But what about when we just want to relax and escape into a world of entertainment?
Ah, that's important too. Sometimes you just need to unwind.
Exactly. And there's a whole universe of pop culture waiting to be discovered right from our homes.
It's true.
One of my favorite things to do is create a must-watch movie list or a must-read book list.
That's a great idea.
It's a way to explore classics you might have missed, discover hidden gems.
And you can really get lost in those stories, transported to different times and places.
Oh, absolutely. They introduce us to new perspectives, teach us valuable lessons.
It's enriching.
Speaking of immersive experiences, we can't forget about gaming.
Oh, of course not.
Gaming has come such a long way, you know.
It really has. The storylines, the graphics.
It's incredible. And there's a game for everyone, no matter what your interests are.
It's true.
From action-packed adventures to strategic puzzles to creative simulations.
It's a great way to unwind, de-stress, connect with others online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just for hardcore gamers anymore.
Definitely not.
Okay, before we wrap things up, one last suggestion. Podcasts and audiobooks.
Oh, love those.
I know, right? The variety is incredible. True crime, self-help, history, fiction. There's literally something for everyone.
It's like having a personal library at your fingertip.
Exactly. Perfect for relaxing, learning something new, escaping into different worlds.
And they're so convenient.
They are. All right, I think we've covered a ton of great options today. Lots to think about.
It's a bit overwhelming in a good way.
I know, right? But I think the key takeaway is that there are so many enriching activities we can enjoy right from our homes, regardless of our interests, skills, or budget.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into the world of at-home hobbies, I want to leave you with this question. What sparked your curiosity today? What activities resonated with you the most?
Take a moment to think about what truly excites you, what you'd like to explore further. And remember, it's not about being an expert or achieving perfection.
It's about finding joy in the process.
Exactly. Challenging yourself, discovering new passions.
We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into the world of at-home hobbies, so stay tuned for more inspiration and practical tips.
Can't wait. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you've had some time to let those hobby ideas sink in.
Oh yeah, we covered a lot of ground. From getting our hands dirty with crafts to shaking things up with cocktails.
So much to choose from. But as I was thinking about it, I realized a lot of these hobbies can actually teach us some valuable skills.
Oh, interesting. Didn't really think about it that way.
Like, take baking, for example. It's not just about following a recipe.
Right.
It's about precision, understanding ratios, troubleshooting when things go wrong. Those are all skills that translate to other areas of life.
Oh, totally. I've definitely had my fair share of baking disasters.
Me too.
But you learn something each time. It's like a science experiment, but in your kitchen.
Exactly. And what about language learning? It's not just about memorizing words.
Right.
It takes discipline, persistence. You have to be open to new ways of thinking.
Those are definitely important life skills no matter what you're doing.
And the reward, when you can finally understand and speak another language, it's incredible. It opens up a whole new world.
It does. Okay, even something like crafting can teach you valuable things.
Like what?
Problem solving, patience, attention to detail.
That's so true. You have to really focus.
And you end up with something tangible, something you created with your own hands.
That sense of accomplishment is pretty amazing.
Speaking of feeling accomplished, let's circle back to gaming for a second.
Okay, yeah.
I think sometimes people dismiss it as just entertainment,
I know what you mean.
but there's so much more to it than that. It really challenges your mind. You can even learn new things.
Oh, I've always thought that. Like the way games can improve your hand-eye coordination, your problem-solving skills.
Your strategic thinking, too.
Yeah.
Some games really make you think ahead.
And a lot of them encourage you to work with others, which is great for teamwork and communication.
That's true. You have to collaborate to achieve a common goal.
And they can be so immersive.
Oh, totally. You get lost in these amazing worlds.
You connect with the characters. Sometimes you even face ethical dilemmas.
It's like interactive storytelling at its best.
I love that way of putting it. It's not just escapism, it's experiencing something new.
Right. Testing your limits, exploring different perspectives.
And those experiences stay with you, even after you've put the controller down.
They do. It's pretty powerful. It's funny how we tend to think of hobbies as either being creative or physical or intellectual.
Right, like they fit into neat little boxes.
But there's so much overlap.
Oh, absolutely. Many of them engage different parts of your brain and body at the same time.
Take gardening, for example.
Yeah.
It's physical, for sure.
Yeah, you're digging, planting, moving things around.
But it also requires planning and a bit of creativity, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And there's a whole science to it, too. Understanding the soil, what the plants need.
It's like a tiny ecosystem right in your own backyard.
Or even on your windowsill.
And that feeling of nurturing something, watching it grow, it's so rewarding.
It connects you to nature.
And it's a reminder that we're all part of something bigger.
Exactly. It's grounding.
Okay, speaking of connections, it struck me that a lot of these at-home hobbies can actually bring people together.
That's true. Even though we're talking about things you can do by yourself.
You can still share them, right?
Yeah.
Think about all those online communities for crafting, gaming, language learning.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
People share tips, help each other troubleshoot problems, even collaborate on projects.
It's a global network of people who share your interests.
And even if you prefer to do your hobbies solo, you can still share what you create or what you've learned.
Of course. Like baking a loaf of bread and sharing it with your neighbors, or teaching your kids a new game.
It's about weaving those hobbies into your life, sharing them with people you care about.
I love that. It creates a sense of community.
It does. And as we talk about all these amazing benefits of hobbies, I think it's important to remember one key thing.
What's that?
They're supposed to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in self-improvement or trying to be the best.
We forget that it's about enjoying the process.
Exactly. Finding something that brings you joy, that helps you unwind, that allows you to express yourself freely.
No pressure, just pure enjoyment.
Whether you're painting a masterpiece or perfecting your pour-over coffee or conquering a challenging video game.
It's all about the experience.
And that's something everyone can access, regardless of their skill level.
So, as we continue our deep dive, let's keep that in mind. The joy of hobbies.
I love that. They should enrich our lives, not add stress.
And speaking of enriching our lives, let's shift gears a bit and explore some hobbies that can help us connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Intriguing. What did you have in mind?
Well, we talked about connecting with nature through indoor gardening.
Right, bringing a bit of the outdoors in.
But what about exploring our own inner landscapes? through practices like meditation or mindfulness.
Those are fantastic suggestions. They help you cultivate a sense of calm, reduce stress.
And they help you understand your own thoughts and emotions better.
It's true. And you don't need any special equipment or training to get started.
There are tons of resources online, guided meditations, mindfulness exercises,
It's amazing how accessible it all is.
and they can be so powerful, for personal growth and well-being.
I've heard so many people say how much meditation and mindfulness have helped them.
Me too. People say it helps them feel more grounded, centered, more present in their everyday lives.
And the best part is, you can practice these techniques anywhere, anytime.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Exactly. Sitting on the couch, taking a walk, even waiting in line at the grocery store.
Take a few moments to connect with your breath. Find some inner peace.
It's like having a portable sanctuary.
I love that. And, as we explore these practices further, I think we might even discover a whole spiritual dimension to hobbies.
Oh, interesting. I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, think about the feeling you get when you're lost in a creative activity.
Like when you're painting, writing, playing music,
It's like you're tapping into something bigger than yourself, a source of inspiration.
and even tending a garden can evoke this feeling of reverence for nature.
Right, this interconnectedness of all living things.
It's a reminder that we're all part of something much larger.
And that connection can bring a sense of meaning and purpose.
It's powerful stuff.
So it seems like hobbies can be a pathway to a lot of things. Self-discovery, personal growth, even spiritual exploration.
I agree. It's amazing how these seemingly simple activities can have such a profound impact.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive.
We have, from the skills we can develop to the connections we can foster to the spiritual side of things.
But there's still so much more to uncover.
I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Welcome back to our final dive into at-home hobbies. I feel like we've just scratched the surface, really.
I know, right? So many possibilities.
We've talked about creativity, getting active, using our brains, even that spiritual side of things.
It's amazing how much there is to discover, even within those familiar activities.
And something I've been thinking about is how these hobbies can really shape who we are. Like our sense of self.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about filling our time.
Right.
It's about expressing who we are, even discovering new parts of ourselves.
Exactly. The hobbies we're drawn to say a lot about us.
They reflect our interests, what we value, even our dreams for the future.
Someone who loves crafting, they probably appreciate those finer details. Being patient, creating something beautiful.
And someone who's into gaming, maybe they're all about challenges, figuring things out, exploring new worlds.
And those qualities, they don't just stay in the hobby box, right?
No, they definitely spill over into other parts of life.
That attention to detail you honed while knitting, maybe it makes you a more focused worker.
Or those problem-solving skills you picked up from gaming, they could help you navigate tricky situations in your personal life.
It's all connected, in a way.
And as we experiment with different hobbies, we might even uncover talents or interests we didn't even know we had.
That's so true. Like, you could think of yourself as totally uncreative.
Right. And then you try painting or pottery, and suddenly you're hooked.
Or maybe you surprise yourself with how easily you pick up a new language.
It's all about trying new things and seeing what sparks joy.
Those moments of self-discovery are so cool. They remind us that we're always changing, growing.
There's always something new to learn about ourselves.
Sometimes the hobbies we choose can even connect us to our past, our heritage.
Oh, that's a beautiful thought. How so?
Well, imagine someone whose family has a tradition of quilting or woodworking.
Generations passing down those skills.
Right. And picking up that hobby, it's like a way to honor your ancestors.
To keep those traditions alive, to feel that connection.
Even if there's not a specific tradition, exploring things related to your ancestry, that could be powerful too.
Like learning a traditional dance from your culture or cooking your grandmother's recipes.
It brings your heritage to life in such a personal way.
So at-home hobbies aren't just about personal growth. They can connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
It's a really cool idea. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to stress one thing.
What's that?
It's never too late to try something new.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter your age, your experience level. There's always a new hobby waiting to be discovered.
And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about enjoying the journey.
The joy of learning, the satisfaction of creating something with your own hands.
Find something that speaks to you, gather your supplies, and dive in. You might surprise yourself with what you find.
And if you have any questions or want to share your experiences, we're always here.
That's right. Until next time, happy hobbying, everyone.